Welcome back to Justice for All! Good morning, Max! Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties.
You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today.
I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! How fabulous! My sweetie pie! My sweetie pie princess! You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did! Mo told me that I should come and watch this.
Mo said that.
I think Mo said that because he knows the repercussion of her actions is coming out. He's probably figured out what you figured out. So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't...
Yeah, she doesn't seem to realise what's going on, or even where she is.
Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick?
Top of the morning to ya! Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go?
Mo!
Top of the morning to you, Governor.
Top of the morning.
That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. That early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms like high brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk.
Oh my, thanks.
So, how are you today, right?
Well, I've got the feeling today I'm going to face off against the real culprit.
You mean Acro?
Huh? You think he did it?
Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare.
If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses.
What are you going to do then, Nick?
I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth.
You're right, but it's gonna be tough.
Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father.
You want us to make sure that Regina watches?
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I brought her here to court today.
What's that supposed to mean?
She's gotta get grounded in reality sometime.
Mm-hmm.
She's 16.
Yep.
She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars.
Sadly,
Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica.
the prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Ms. Von Carly, you may proceed with your case.
The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events.
What's the meaning of this?
We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime.
Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up.
Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises.
In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene. On my orders.
Poor gumshoe. Very well, please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work, or shall I say time to walk the courtroom tightrope. You had to bring the birds? Oh, that's a new one.
Name and occupation.
Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Very Big Circus.
Where were you the night of the crime?
I was in my room that night.
If you look at the map, you'll see the witness's room is near the crime scene.
My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window.
The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed?
Okay. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying, right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming.
This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown.
If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night.
The bust.
What was that?
The bust.
Uh-huh.
Somebody clunked him over the head, clearly, but then to look like Max, they'd have had to have had the bust's face. Because that bust has been missing for 5 days.
Yeah, it's been missing, and it would give off the silhouette of Max if you put the cloak on it.
Exactly.
And it already has a hat!
Exactly.
Well, well. The plot doeth thicken.
Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness.
A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did.
Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with your cross-examination. I can't press him.
Well, we can press him, but he's just going to be very good at covering up any lie.
That's fine.
Can you imagine that we'll know?
That's fine.
How do you know it was him? It's the best thing to do, I guess.
The light in your room was turned off then, right?
That's true. I was going to bed after all.
So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window.
The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front.
Did you see any of the other symbols?
I clearly saw the silk hat as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica.
More impressive than us was also such a gap, but I feel some issue with this latest bit of testimony. There's a contradiction.
Yeah, the hat. As we
noticed last time with Mo.
Yeah. There's a huge contradiction. There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given.
If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence.
Gladly. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? Fucking out. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that?
What do you mean?
Sorry, do you sit by that?
Didn't have to do that, Dragon. But I suppose the phrasing is incorrect. It's like...
Also, it would be rather insensitive.
Well, do you metaphorically stand by that?
Yeah. The silk hat.
What about the silk hat? I saw on Max's head as he flew by my window.
It's... What you saw was the bust. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night.
That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside of the window, it was a tough enough challenge for me.
That's a shame because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene.
That's the Ringmaster's hat, right?
Did you just say?
Oh! You slipped up!
Did you just say?
That's the Ringmaster's hat, right?
No, afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat.
What? Sorry, you're the...
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright?
Where am I going with this indeed? I have two voices.
Are you saying that Max has two silk hats? No. This is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Order! Order!
As always, it looks like someone just had to open their
No,
mouth
I
before...
didn't, Francisco! Will you shut yours for a second?
Just had to open their mouth before thinking.
Why don't you just shut yours for a second?
Are you okay, Nick?
Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about you, Mr. Wright? What would cause the witness to commit perjury at this court today?
Doesn't have a grudge. He wasn't dreaming, so...
The real culprit.
Yeah. You thought it was the acrobat ages ago!
I did! And I back it up. Your Honor? On this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself.
Oh, it's getting dramatic.
Oh my god, I think I know how.
Go on
I
then.
think I know how.
Okay.
Obviously, you would have the invisible wire tied around the bust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ben would have seen the Ringmaster walking in the hat and the cloak.
Uh-huh.
But the thunk noise! And why there was no other fucking footprints?
It was the bust hitting the Ringmaster.
From above!
Yeah.
You just dropped the bust on him! That's why he's all plunged over!
Uh-huh. But then how did the cloak transfer over?
I don't know. That's why I'm not sure
But
of
it
at the
does
moment.
explain why the hat fell onto the ground.
Exactly. It does explain why the hat fell, and it also explains why there's no fucking footprints at the scene.
Because it was the bust that hit the Swede.
Exactly.
Okay. Alright, let's keep going. On this occasion.
Accuses Acro. What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor.
I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and mind. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book.
Really?
If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary.
Oh.
He's now getting attacked by a bird.
He's staying rather calm and collected. Mr. Dingley, do you have any response to the defense's accusation?
I don't really need to say a thing, do I?
What do you mean?
Everyone, take a quick look at me. I can't even stand up on myself, let alone leave the lodging house.
That's true.
I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things.
See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous.
It's not. It's not at all.
She's right! Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man!
Phoenix is a poopy head! See that, Mr. Phoenix, right? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice.
What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? If he did, it would have to have been the monkey.
Yeah, and the monkey couldn't have fucking done it. Which means...
No, he
Yeah.
didn't. I was thinking.
Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice.
Not this time, Von Karma.
What?
You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order! Order! What are you getting at?
Way to keep them on their toes, Nick.
Now I'm going to have to prove it all, how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry.
You do it, Nick? You really do that?
I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed.
Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix, right. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right?
Yes. Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingley? He was in his room.
Well, yeah, he said himself he can't leave his room.
He was in his room. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the Ringmaster.
What? Are you nuts?
What say you, Mr. Dingley? I'm gonna get attacked by the fucking bird again?
It's an interesting theory.
That's it.
Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it.
So I'm gonna Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point.
It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix, right? The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he?
Did you like that?
Yeah. But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright?
Go for it. What is it?
I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume.
How did you do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet.
Careful, Nick, if you mess up here.
She's right, I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Anchor killed the Ringmaster, and he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it. Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Present evidence. It's the bust.
Go ahead. Do it.
I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Mr. Berry? Where is it?
There it is.
What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust. It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-size, it is also very, very heavy.
Heavy.
Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death, especially if it were dropped from a third-story window.
Ah!
See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust.
I'm sorry.
Order! Order! So you're saying that the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. It's shiny.
Yeah, it's got the shiny cards on it.
It's shiny, which means Money would have taken it back to the room.
Which means Acro would have had his hands on something available that he could have used to kill.
Kill and frame Max, whom he already didn't like.
He didn't like him as a person, but he respected him as a
Exactly.
performer.
Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit.
How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
He didn't need to. Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Well, Acro's at a loss for words.
He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro, you can't run away. Ow! I was talking!
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
I'm trying! You keep interrupting me! What?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get a proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say? Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has a right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingley, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you.
That woman will seek to any low to win a case. She's a Von Karma through and through. Gross physical state.
I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force in my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
Excuse me while I check something.
But that... So it says in the plaza... You know your obsession with the box? How would he have known where to drop the bust?
The box was already there.
Based on the note that you've checked over again...
The box was already there, that was the proof.
I have proof. The proof is in the box. If he's busy fiddling with the lock...
Exactly! The box was already fucking there! You know I was obsessed with that box for a good reason.
Yeah, it just wasn't for the reason you fucking thought.
Yeah, well, my brain likes to come up with wild theories. I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony, what I do.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That is what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
I can't let it get to me. I've got to focus. Okay, so. Yep, that's fine. That one's fine. It's fine. That's
No.
fine. That one.
Then I suggest we don't need to press it. We could just show evidence.
Box.
The box or the photo, yeah.
Box.
Yeah, go ahead. It went silent! We were right! Ha ha!
I told you, the box. That crow. You didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you?
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
You already knew ahead of time where the Ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence?
But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. Key point here is the wooden box. Same wooden box.
Judge.
The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box there?
Who?
When Ben and company saw the Ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box.
Okay, so now it's agreed that's the Ringmaster then.
Yeah, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the Ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear.
You mean...
If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim.
No!
Yes! Order! This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward! So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. And he connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow!
Allow me to whip some sense into you.
Miss...
Mr. Phoenix Wright!
Ow!
The Ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box.
That's why the box was so specially made!
Specially made?
Indeed! It had the most peculiar feature.
The weight. The contents meant nothing, really.
The box has a remarkable weight!
Wait.
According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. the box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place.
Fool! Still no reaction.
Does he even bother to listen to me anymore?
I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing.
What?
Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust?
I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it?
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself.
You don't need to.
Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room?
Just let me in. Stop going round slowly like a fucking snail.
You see,
Alright.
Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that! Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
There wasn't.
Not a human.
Ah! Fine, let me explain.
Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria.
He didn't. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear our explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room?
Mr. Shiny, Shiny, Lovey Shiny.
A monkey? Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole that ventriloquist's ring.
So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. Are you stupid? The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room?!
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
Ooh!
My, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
That's the judge!
My, those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny. Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? Be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. But yeah, considering he's got a fucking tuber in the room.
Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma, you made me do it again, you bitch! Where is the bust in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey has not stolen the bust. Had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon.
Wait! Then you mean this bust was the murder weapon? Purely by accident?
It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer.
Moron!
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney.
Fraud?
You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
And what is that?
You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime.
Ah!
There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now.
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around.
When the murder occurred, there were 2 people at the scene of the crime.
It was the bust!
One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw?
The fucking bust! He saw Max's butt. Ow!
I asked who was the other person most saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
That is everything! Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. How was that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case?
Have you?
Yes.
Clearly not.
The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off the cards in the bust's hands.
Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust?
It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance to the case, don't you agree? Oh, he caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Regina.
Why would Regina put a cloak on the bust?
Regina, Mo.
Why would Mo put it on the bust?
Max? Why would Max do it?
No one, in a sense, has a legitimate reason to do it. Acro wouldn't have died because that's just stupid.
Who put the cloak on the bus?
The cloak was never seen at the crime scene, though, just the hat. And Russell Berry was wearing the hat and the cloak.
So Russell Berry put it on the bust. But no, he couldn't have.
But it's the thing, if Russell was wearing a cloak,
He'd have found the cloak.
not just the hat.
Ah.
Because it is the thing of why would Acro have a cloak or Max's cloak?
Yeah, why would
He was just trying to kill
Russell Berry?
Russell
He
Berry.
didn't care how.
The bust was just what was used at the time. He had no real motive in framing Max, really. Max just happened to be framed due to circumstances.
Ben has the only motive to frame Max. Because it gets him out of the way so that Trilo can have Regina.
But Ben himself doesn't actually like Regina in that way, it seems.
No, but Trilo does. So Trilo could have done it.
But that's a fucking puppet!
That's what I'm trying to say. Mo doesn't have the motive.
And also, Acro doesn't have an accomplice, remember?
No, he doesn't.
then it leaves only one solution.
No one.
No one really, but you have to select someone. Somehow the cloak that was on Russell Berry got onto the bust. You think it's Russell then? Because in a sense it's inadvertently, right? He would have been sniped on the sleeve, lost the hat. If the cloak wasn't secured properly,
yeah,
it would have flown off, I guess.
That's the only thing I can think of. Because Russell was wearing it. He's the only one that could have done it because there are no other footprints at the scene. And then it wouldn't have been on the bus beforehand because then why would Money have taken it? Because you wouldn't have been able to see the shiny shinies.
Yep, again. And we know Akru doesn't really have it out for Max. He's the only person in the circus, apart from Regina, who's just a fucking airhead, who doesn't actually have it out for Max. He respects him as a performer. Fool! Him!
You are saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry. That's what I'm saying. Please go quiet.
You go quiet, but you haven't been penalised. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust?
Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have a handle on all this?
Yes. I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so, you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Akra used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the Ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the Ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trilo. When the Ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the box. And that's when Agro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bus hit the victim,
You wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
it's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. The circus isn't over yet.
What?
The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Akra naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out of his window, so he just kept pulling the bust up.
There she goes.
And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could only have been you. And you're calm as shit again.
Mm-hmm.
My God. Don't you peck me with that bird.
Acro's been playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now.
So,
What now?
You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence? Yes.
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my wit.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Nick, there's only one evidence.
You just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there is still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account.
Unusual.
A contradiction, actually.
Okay then, use that and get out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs up your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. It's the letter. Okay.
That doesn't prove the murder method. With the hard evidence, it would be the hat again.
The hat? Why the hat?
Because it's about Mo's testimony. Mo saw the hat fly off.
The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. The symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony.
The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other.
But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions.
You fool! Do you ever shut up?
Do you?
No.
Exactly, so shut up for once.
Fuck you.
Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction.
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court. He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Yes. Of course, I can explain all of it.
What was that?
Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust.
Ah!
Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel.
Of course not.
God damn it. Still calm. And collected. Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind?
What is it?
You took the time to research our circus, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't?
If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track.
Why is that?
Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the Ringmaster. What's up?
He didn't mean to get the Ringmaster.
Louder for the class.
He didn't mean to get the Ringmaster.
Mm-hmm.
He meant to get Regina.
Yep.
Because it was Regina's fault that Bat's in the coma. Because she put pepper on the fucking scarf, which made Leon sneeze, which caused him to bite Bat, and which caused Acro to then try and save his brother.
And thus get injured.
He's the one that wrote the note. He admitted that much to us. And so he put it in her pocket, trying to get her out there. But she, being the airhead that she is, and not really grounded in any fucking reality, thought it was meant for someone else, so posted it on the board. So, as soon as the Ringmaster saw it, he got very annoyed and angry and went red in the fucking face. And he went out there.
Because he knew. Because he knew all about the tragedy, and of course that someone would be angry about what happened.
He knew Acro would be angry about what happened to Bat, and he probably knew about Bat and Regina.
And it's just such
and
a
just teasing her, and him teasing her with pepper.
So she was just getting him back, not realising that it could have killed him.
He never meant to get the Ringmaster.
Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the Ringmaster. Then what's Max's motive? You guys never care about the motive half the time.
Yeah.
Your Honour, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the Ringmaster and his life up until now. Well, what do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the Ringmaster.
Acro's motive. And this is why I hate figuring it out so soon, because I get frustrated.
Because you're then trying to get to the resolution. Yeah.
And I'm watching them flounder and be brainless, and I swear to God, if anybody in this game had a brain, they'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
It seems this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel like this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Who Nelly? To be honest, I think we need a break as well. Jesus. Woo! There goes another one. Well, thank you all so much for watching this part of the trial. We'll see you in the final act! Thank you all for watching this latest addition to our growing collection of varying games and reviews, just videos in general. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Please leave a like and a comment in the comments section down below. We love hearing what you think. If you have any recommendations for either games to play or material to review, let us know in the comments and we'll do our best to get to them when we can.
If you like our content, subscribe to see more. Check out our playlists if you are looking for something new or worried you've missed an episode. Click on the recommended video appearing on the screen if you want to see more of us right now. You won't regret it, we swear. Subscribe to our Patreon to become one of our lovely beans today. However, if that is too expensive for you at this time, please consider a one-off donation on our Ko-fi. Help a poor tea-wench today.
And with that, Lime out.
Dragon out.
Bye!